Hello, Adam Zaghloul here, Vice President, Strategy and Planning for NTG Clarity. I want to wish you a happy new year coming into 2025. And I wanted to put out with the new year a new and updated company presentation to go over all the accomplishments and the state of our business coming out of 2024, but also explore the opportunities for growth that we still have going into 2025 and beyond. But before that, I have to give a quick disclaimer that this presentation contains forward-looking information and financial outlooks, as well as a couple of non-IFRS measures and ratios. Now, management does believe that these best represent the company's past performance and expected future performance, but there are, of course, risks and uncertainties involved with them. So please check out the disclaimer while you consider this presentation. But with that said, I want to set the stage by talking about Saudi Arabia. Over the last few decades, Saudi Arabia has really transformed itself from being an oil-dependent emerging economy in the desert to becoming a real global economic powerhouse. So it's put its vast oil wealth to use, building some of the most impressive physical architecture and infrastructure projects out there, and they're continuing to build those. But they're setting the stage for the next stage of their evolution, which is a full digital transformation. Now, digital transformation is a huge part of the Saudi Vision 2030, and that's the economic development plan to continue diversifying its economy away from oil and gas and really become a global hub for finance, for technology, and also for entertainment. So there are $1.3 trillion of investment already earmarked for the Vision 2030, and information and communications technology is a big part of the plan, which is where NTG Clarity comes in. Now, as a TSX Venture listed company, NTG has more than 20 years of experience operating in Saudi Arabia and the Middle East. And effectively what we do is enable our customers' digital transformation journeys by building world-class software development and engineering teams. So we have a team of more than 1,000 IT, engineering, software, and design professionals that provide end-to-end solutions for some of Saudi Arabia's leading financial institutions and banks, telecom companies, and also government agencies. So with all this growth around the Vision 2030, we're also seeing a lot of growth, with 95% of our revenue coming from Saudi Arabia. Our 3-year revenue compounded annual growth rate is over 60%, and it puts us on track to reach our 2024 revenue target of $55 million. When it comes to what differentiates NTG, I would say it's our ability to combine cost effectiveness with a really high level of service, with a focus on operational and even linguistic and cultural alignment. When you take a look at our workforce, we're based primarily out of Egypt, which is just across the Red Sea from Saudi Arabia there. And this allows us to really provide high quality services to our Saudi customers. When you compare us with other outsourcing operations, such as those operating out of India or the Philippines, our workforce out of Egypt still offers cost competitiveness when compared to local on-site hires out of Saudi. But at the same time, Egyptians will speak the same language, work in the same time zone, and have the same shared cultural background as our Saudi clients, which makes for better collaboration and really just better results overall. Now, the world is really taking notice at all of the development and investment going on in Saudi Arabia. As of the first half of 2024, over 180 multinational companies have moved their regional headquarters to Saudi Arabia. So it's becoming apparent that there's a lot of profit being made in investing in the technology scene in Saudi Arabia right now. The current information communication technology market in Saudi Arabia is valued at about $50 billion, and it's expected to grow at an 8.5% compounded annual growth rate over the next 5 years or so. Now, NTG can really service all parts of our customers' digital transformation needs using our 2 main lines of business. The first one is our digital transformation software development services. Now, this is set up so that we can provide for our customers basically an end-to-end software development service and solutions, be it front-end development, back-end development, or the full stack, leveraging some of the most cutting-edge technologies such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, data engineering, and cloud computing, just to name a few. But our services go beyond just the technical skills. We also provide resources to our customers for business analysis, solution architecture, project management, and UI UX design. So our customers can be assured that from design and scoping all the way through implementation and through to continuous improvement and maintenance and support, NTG's resources really have them covered end to end for their digital transformation. Now, these services are offered both on-site or offshore, depending on what our customers prefer. Start with our offshore offering. This represents about 37% of our business. This is really popular with our customers right now because it offers faster deployment, obviously, than bringing someone on site. They can just work remotely from our Egypt offshore center based out of Cairo, Egypt. It also is cost competitive. It can be 50% cheaper for our customers to work offshore from our offshore development center in Egypt when compared to local on-site hires. And this is all while being higher margin for NTG. So because of these factors, offshore is becoming our fastest growing part of our business, from zero about 3 years ago to be 37% of our business today. Our services are also offered on site, and this is still the majority of our business, about 60% of revenue. But this is for customers who want that high level of collaboration that comes with employees working on site at their offices in Saudi Arabia for an extra tailor-made solution. Now, NTG has years of experience relocating employees, so working through things like visas, work permits, travel arrangements and accommodation arrangements to really get qualified resources on our customers' sites as soon as possible. Now, together, that's 97% of our business, but the other 3% comes from our proprietary software products and solutions. This is namely our flagship NTG Apps platform. And this is a digital transformation platform that enables our customers to roll out or build themselves from scratch apps to handle their day-to-day enterprise-level operations. And the key here is it's all done without any code. So it falls into the no-code, low-code paradigm, if you're familiar with that. But the second key is it's also fully integrated and fully integrable with all of the existing IT infrastructure and systems that our customers would use. So some example implementations for NTG Apps could be anything from a full-scale enterprise resource planning platform all the way down to more niche IT ticketing or field service management use cases as well. Now, while NTG Apps is only 3% of our revenue, we're also excited to see it as a cross-sell and upsell opportunity to a lot of our existing customers. And many of our large professional services customers, our biggest customers, are in the process of or have recently signed contracts to begin using NTG Apps. So we're really excited to expand this offering that will bring with it not just some extra revenue, but also margin expansion from the software offering itself. So when it comes to NTG's main advantage, I like to call these the 3 pillars to NTG's success, and they all stem from how long we've been in business and how entrenched we are in the Saudi market, which makes it very hard to replicate for other players that are entering the market at this time. The first is our deeply entrenched relationships in Saudi Arabia. Obviously, by working in the region for more than 20 years, we've built a lot of relationships with IT professionals on all levels of IT organizations. So executive key decision makers in these organizations, they maybe started out as the project managers or product managers or department managers that we were working with 20 years ago, but have since climbed the corporate ladder and are able to give increasing amount of work for larger durations to NTG just through the network effect. The second pillar is education and training programs to fill our talent pipeline. Now, this is based on our operations out of Egypt, but we have years of experience running upskilling and training programs, not just for our own internal employees, but also partnering with schools and universities and colleges in Egypt to offer the same training to university students and recent graduates to prepare people for jobs in the IT world. Now, this sort of came to a crescendo in 2023 when NTG established its NTG School. And there are now 2 operational NTG schools that are done in collaboration with the Egyptian Ministry of Education. But these are dual curriculum vocational high schools that offer part typical high school curriculum, math and science and language, but also part specialized NTG-funded digital transformation training to prepare high school students for work in the IT world. So this is how we keep up with the requirements for talent that come with a lot of our increasing contracts that we've been signing recently, but it also helps us train and upskill employees to make sure that our quality of work is at the level that our customers have come to expect for us. The third pillar is investing in decision makers for the future. So this is similar to the second pillar, but this one is focused at Saudi Arabia. So NTG is actively in the process of partnering with Saudi universities and colleges to also offer Saudi nationals students IT training in the digital transformation world. And this is with the understanding that these Saudi nationals will graduate and go on to be the manager level employees at a lot of potential customer organizations. So we're setting the stage now to make the networking connections with these leaders of tomorrow in the hopes that they will feed into that first pillar and become, the network that provides us with business down the line. So at this point, I want to go over a couple of case studies to give you a sense of the type of projects that we work on and the type of work that we do. In this example, this is offshore software development that we did for a government-affiliated system integrator out of Saudi Arabia. We were contracted to develop mobile apps, but also some internal systems for Hajj and Umrah tourism purposes. So Hajj and Umrah, of course, are the major pilgrimages in Saudi Arabia. Hajj is especially noteworthy because it is probably the largest annual gathering of people in the world. So it's a huge tourism operation for sure. But we were building systems like apps for visitor experience, visa processing, booking, that kind of thing, but also more internal apps for the government to do things like take care of logistics and crowd management. Now, this client wanted qualified professionals to begin work as soon as possible, with cost savings being a secondary consideration. All the work that's going into digital transformation right now, they want boots on the ground yesterday, and they really just need the seats filled for these contracts, but at the same time with an eye on competence and quality for sure. So NTG was able to source 10 senior resources from its pool of 1,000 employees to start work immediately on this project. So these 10 senior resources would start designing the system, start building the early components of the system. But over the course of about 2 years, it scaled up to a team of about 200 resources, end-to-end software development professionals. Now, some of the key takeaways here are, the strength of our talent pipeline. Not only were we able to get those first 10 resources in place and working quickly originally, but we were able to easily scale up to the scale of basically a full digital transformation department at this company over the course of 2 years. And the second is, the network effect that NTG has. We were able to secure this opportunity because somebody in this decision maker's personal network had previously worked with NTG and had recommended us based on their satisfaction with our quality and our prices on the services. So taking a look at another case study, this time it was on-site instead of offshore software development for a bank in Saudi Arabia. So we were contracted to develop customer-facing mobile apps and internal payment processes and a couple of integrations for a new microfinancing offering that this bank was offering. So microfinancing is in, you buy your phone and you finance it month to month, or maybe a smaller purchase even that way. That's the sort of system that we're developing. But again, similar to the first example, this client wanted qualified resources to begin on-site work immediately, with cost savings, of course, also being a secondary consideration. So similar to the first example, we were able to start with a smaller team, this time of business analysts. We placed 5 senior business analysts to begin scoping out the project and doing all the preliminary work. And this led to us building a full team of 50 end-to-end software development professionals by the end, present day, working on this engagement. Now, when you take a look at the NTG Advantage, it was similar to the first example, right? We had the skilled workforce as well as the know-how on how to relocate and get work permits and get them up and running on-site quickly and effectively. But we also had the network effect work for us as well. The CTO, who was the decision maker in this case, had been a customer of NTG's at a previous company he worked at, and he brought NTG with him to this new bank that he went to work with, and because he was satisfied with the quality of work and the prices that he got. And we were able to secure this new customer because of that. And really the results start speaking for themselves, right? We're at 14 consecutive quarters of last 12-month revenue growth now. Really, in the last 6 months, we started seeing a lot of contracts come in that are larger in size, but also larger in duration as our customers are starting to recognize the quality of our work and the competitiveness of our prices. Now, this includes the $53 million 3-year contract from back in August. But all in all, these 3-year contracts represent about $80 million in revenue over the course of 3 years. And that all plays into our current backlog of over $100 million with, of course, that revenue visibility out over 3 years. So the customers are recognizing the quality of our services, the competitiveness of our prices, and they're not only signing on for bigger contracts, but also over longer durations of time. 2024 was also a strong year for our KPIs. I'll go over a couple of them now. The first one in the center is from Q3 2024, year over year, we saw a 17% increase in customers. So that network effect is definitely hitting us. Our reputation precedes us in that we provide these quality services at a competitive price, and new customers are eager to sign on for business with us. When it comes to our existing customers, for the same time period, year over year, Q3 2024, we had an 87% customer retention rate. And of those customers that stayed with us, 57% of them increased their level of service. So new customers are being onboarded, they're being satisfied with our work, and they're signing on for larger and larger engagement. And we're able to become a long-term sustainable part of our customers' digital transformation teams, which is shown by our 80% recurring or reoccurring revenue rate. And this is defined as customers that either have multi-year contracts with us or customers that have consistently renewed their annual contracts for 2 years or more. So it's really exciting to see new customers coming in, the existing customers being satisfied and increasing their work, and that all playing into the strong growth that we've been seeing recently. Now, when it comes to financials, revenue growth has definitely been one of the big items of our story over the past few years. Our 3-year compounded annual growth rate of revenue is over 60%. We're targeting 100% year-over-year growth for 2024, and we're expecting that growth to continue on into 2025. But beyond revenue, our business model is set up for scalability and efficiency, right? So we are able to consistently post, even despite our growth, gross margins in the neighborhood of 35 to 40%, and we expect that to continue on into the future. Now, our business is relatively capital light. There aren't a lot of costs that carry on fixed in our G&A, and we don't really require much large capital investment to keep our growth going. So we're able to post pretty impressive net income and adjusted EBITDA margins as well. Both of those year over year as of third quarter 2024 are sitting at about 16% for both of those measures. Now, we are cash flow positive from operations. However, we have seen a couple of temporary impacts on our margins and cash conversion over the last couple of quarters. And that's for a couple of reasons. The first is that, with all of the growth that we've been seeing and all the contracts that we've been signing, we're needing to recruit, onboard, and train resources to fill those contracts. And while that recruiting and onboarding process is going on, new resources are booked in G&A and are moved over to cost of sales once they've been deployed and are billable to customers. The second reason is because really with 100% year-over-year growth, naturally our accounts receivable will increase, and that's really just due to the about standard 1 to 2 month lag between when we complete work with our customers and when we actually collect the cash from them. Now, over time, we expect both of these factors to play less into our cash flow and our cash conversion. And as we see some benefits of scale kick in and our growth rate stabilizes over the next little while, we expect some significant free cash flow to come through in the near future for sure. Now, when it comes to capitalization, we're in a strong position to fund our working capital for the foreseeable future. We ended third quarter 2024 with $5.4 million of cash on our balance sheet, and we are cash flow positive, so a very strong position that way. When it comes to insider ownership, our insiders and our management are heavily in line with the interest of our shareholders because management themselves owns over 40% of the shares outstanding and continues to show their confidence in the company with participation in recent share offerings as well. But really, to summarize, Saudi Arabia is building its digital future today, and NTG, really with its 30-year track record, 20 years in the region, track record of quality work at a competitive price with our scalable and efficient business model, is in a very, very strong position to get in on a lot of the work that's going into digitally transforming Saudi Arabia. But I think I can leave it at that, and I just want to say thank you for taking the time to watch our presentation. Feel free to send me an email or a message if you have any questions or want to set up a call for introductions. I'm always happy to hop on a call. And I'm really looking forward to all of the growth opportunities that we have going into 2025 And I'm also looking forward to sharing our year-end financials with you as we're expecting those to come in over the next couple of months. But until then, thank you very much.